We have a new artist. Is Mike LaRosa here? Hello, Mike. There he is. Welcome, Mike. And we're excited. We have a couple of events coming up this month, other than this fabulous opening. So I would like to introduce Dr. Lisa Belisle to talk about the one that's coming up next week.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I love having Paige right in the front. If anybody ever wants to speak to an audience, you want to put Paige in the front because she's always smiling and she's always happy and she's tall. So you automatically feel happy just getting up here. So it's really been my pleasure over the last 4 years to be doing Radio Maine. And I know that we had quite a few of you who came to Radio Maine Live, which was not so long ago, where we brought in a lot of Radio Maine guests from the past to do a panel conversation. And it's been our intention with the art gallery to really expand our events, because what we know is that the art is fantastic. So the more we can get people in front of the art and the more we can create happy and positive associations with the art, which means hanging out with lovely people like you, the more that people are going to feel their lives enriched by art. So one of the ways in which we're doing this is Artful Escapes, which is going to be next Thursday at 5 o'clock. It is limited seating, and actually we're going to have seats. We have a wonderful projection. John Uze, where are you, John? John right here. He is an extremely well-respected architect from a few years ago. You spent, 3 decades in the business, and has a very fine design eye and loves to travel. How lucky for us. So we're going to be marrying art and travel and design. And as we're all sitting here enjoying the lovely hush that's descended over us as a result of the time change, we're all thinking, how could I have an artful escape? So enjoy the art as you are now. Come next week and join us again so you can think about how I might escape, because then when you come back to Maine again, you can enjoy the art again. So it's all the circle of life, and we invite you to join us next week. But in the meantime, I really want to give a great deal of praise to our artists who are here tonight. I have interviewed all 4 of them. They are wonderful, wonderful people in addition to being wonderful artists. And that's really what I love about working with the Portland Art Gallery, is that the people behind the paintings and behind the other works of art are just as imaginative and creative and loving as you could ever hope to have in a human being. So that what comes out in their art is truly what they are as people. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks, Lisa. I couldn't agree with you more. And we also have an event on November 20th with New York Times bestselling artist and Boston-based interior designer Erin Gates. You may have seen her. We'll be hosting a greeting and a book signing of her 3rd book, Elements of Style, Creating a Forever Home. So join us. That's back here at 5 to 7. You don't have to buy the book to show up. But it's great if you do. And think of it in terms of the timing. So, okay. I'm going to start to ramble, because actually this is my 3rd event of the day. This is my 3rd name tag. So this morning I started the Portland Chamber of Commerce, and the topic was housing development in Portland, followed by the Olympia Snow Women's Leadership Institute luncheon with my 500 closest friends. But their mission is to foster values, voice, and vision in young women in grades 10 through 12. And while this one didn't happen today, I have to add that the Hearts of Pine, our local soccer team, made it to the semifinals this past weekend. Their season, I know, right? And their season has captured such imagination and joy across the state. But all these organizations, events, and leaders, they just remind me why I'm so extraordinarily grateful to live in Portland and Maine. They also remind me of the energy that it takes to make things work. The hustle, the commitment, the passion, and the pure love of community. And honestly, those are the same qualities I think of when I think about our artists and artists in general. You lead with your hearts and your passion every single day. You show up, create, and share your vision with that same drive and courage. We appreciate you. Thank you. So with that, let's hear from some of them, starting with Mr. J. Rodney Dennis. It's a pleasure to introduce J. Rodney, an American realist painter whose work blends classical technique with a deep desire to capture the spirit of humanity. Rod's artistic journey began early in Washington, D.C., where exposure to the Smithsonian's collections sparked a lifelong appreciation for fine art. His gift was quickly recognized, leading to early training with portraitists and later formal study at the Bucks County Classical Arts Center and the Academy of of realist art in Boston when we got to meet you. Influenced by masters such as Velasquez and the Dutch painters, Rod's work goes beyond faithful representation. Each painting is a study in truth, emotion, and the shared human experience, an invitation, as he puts it, to engage with what needs to be said. Please welcome artist J. Rodney Dennis.
Good evening. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here with such my esteemed colleagues who are being showing today. I'm not going to waylay much more there. Back in school, grad work, I did everything by way of script. So I'll read off of it, and I may have a sundry comment thereabout. Let me go and get to it. From the beginning of this year, I've been introduced to and approached with the idea of legacy as an artist. The realization of being labeled as such has changed from a title to a designation. Embracing this designation has been a sobering yet weighty responsibility, one which I did not sign up for, but was informed of by family members, colleagues, mentors, and counselors, people who love me and are depending on me to speak this language. The artist Nina Simone was interviewed and stated that the artist's duty was to reflect the times in which we live. This current work has taken a turn, one that confronts the responsibility of this artist, not a reaction to these times, which I'm sure that some of us are weary of, but to offer a response, which takes a lot of energy. The piece addresses the question of legitimacy, confronting the proposed icons, what it looks like. The question that I get commonly presented, what does it look like? What does legitimacy look like? What does coronation look like? I want to go off my right. And who decides thereof? Mentors and counselors challenged me as one entrusted with this mode of communication to answer the question, what does it look like? Reintroducing an alternative view is not a grandiose idea, but with this turn, I wanted to offer a thought on what it could look like. What if the coronation of what and who is legitimate provided access? This work attempts to redefine and answer the question of what it can look like in this time. For a fuller statement, please visit the latest piece called Throne. I look forward to connecting with you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Rodney. And now I'd like to introduce artist William Crosby. And where's his fabulous wife, Pat? There she is. They're the magic duo. It's so exciting when they both show up. So Bill, an abstract landscape painter whose work captures the rhythm, light, and emotion, really, of the natural world. He has a background in both photography and architecture, and that combination shows up beautifully in his work, a balance of structure and spontaneity. He says, I start with a line, and then I just let things happen. One brushstroke leads to the next. Bill taught painting and photography for more than 3 decades at SUNY Plattsburgh, where he founded their photography program. His paintings are often inspired by the landscapes of Maine, the Adirondacks, and Alaska, places where light and water seem to have their own language. Please welcome artist William Crosby.
Good to be here and to see so many people. Wow. I feel honored. It's always a pleasure to exhibit here and with the other artists that are featured, as well as all the artists in the other room. This is something, it's special place. Now, where to begin? Well, imagine a white canvas, maybe 4 feet by 4 feet or 4 feet by 5 feet, or maybe something smaller too. And I go at it with no real thought in mind. I just start. And sometimes it's a horizon line that's left and developed or maybe eliminated. And other times it's just a stroke here and a stroke there. And I'll go over the whole canvas with titanium white, and the pencil lines will get smeared in with some of that. But I then go back into it again. I sort of let the canvas speak to me as to what's happening. And then I may have a small brush in one hand, a larger brush in another hand. Probably in the small brush, there's some ultramarine blue or phthalo blue mixed with burnt umber or raw umber. And I'll start making some gestures and some marks and start making some of the shapes. And then the white comes in and it goes out, and more line comes in, more color comes in, and then it goes out. It's a back and forth thing. It's an emotional thing on my part. I don't know how else to describe it. My background is originally in abstract expressionism, and I have a love for the landscape. It just constantly moves me. Got up this morning and the full moon was setting on the St. George River, where we have a place in South Thomaston. And earlier last week, I was out on the river several times. The colors are wonderful. It's been a long, slow fall. I know we need more rain. Well, we've had some rain, but even those days are kind of nice. Not the wind. It's hard to kayak in the wind. But so back to the painting. So I'm working it back and forth. And I work it a while, but I usually keep 2 or 3 going. So what you're seeing over here, the 2 big ones were going at the same time, and the 4 24 by 48s were all happening at the same time. So as I'm working on one, I'll take it so far, I'll move to another one, move back. There's some over behind us here of some of the autumn feelings. I'm very much impressed by the seasons. And in an essay that Lisa wrote recently, and some of you I'm sure have read it, about white. I use a lot of white in my paintings, as you know. And white is an open, and it opens us up, I think. Lisa's got good words for this. Read that essay if you haven't. It's wonderful. I'm not going to quite quote it here, but in my work you'll see a lot of white spaces or low-key spaces. It might be the sky, it might be the foreground. But sometimes that white is also positive. It's not always negative space, but it does sometimes set off some of the dark forms and the other forms that I'm using, the shapes. So I find that exciting. Just as I find the changes of seasons, we really need a change of season, and we have it here. Oh, sure, sometimes it's maybe too much rain or a little too much snow or too much heat in the summer, but it's worth it because I think it brings out more feelings and understanding of where we are and what we're about. I find beauty in all these changes of seasons, and that influences my work. Not directly. I take a lot of photographs, but I don't use photographs for paintings. Oh, yeah, I do use this little camera sometimes. I'll be working on a painting or a series of paintings, and I get to a certain point, and it's not complete, but it's maybe 2/3 done, 3/4 done or something, and I want to get out of the studio. But this is a technique some of you might use or might want to use now. I take pictures of it. So when I go out, well, my studio in Maine is the next room. At home, it's down the road several miles, not several days. And in any case, I get away from the painting, but then I can look at the images I've taken, and that helps me reflect on what I might want to do when I attack that painting the next time. And I assure you, sometimes I do attack the painting. I'll paint out a whole area and start over again. And I'll push the paint around. I destroy brushes, but that's part of it. And once in a while, even my fingers get in there, and it is some finger painting, but not a normal thing, but it happens. And I'll go back and redraw some areas. I'm looking for feeling, emotion, expression, and I hope that is in the viewer, that they can get into the painting. My paintings, in a sense, are not finished. You're the ones, as a viewer, you're the ones who maybe purchased the work, that can get into the painting and let it be part of your life as much as it had been mine when I was doing it. So it's an emotional thing. It's somewhat abstract. Some of them get a little more conventional or representational, I should say. And You might identify trees or ponds or something. Once in a while, I'll do Katahdin or Monhegan, so that's more definite. But these especially were done as a series. All the paintings in the show now were done this year, 2025. I'm starting some new ones, and in fact, I brought in some today that aren't in the show, but I had my son, one of my boys, do a video as I was painting. Actually, we did about 2 or 3 sessions. I sent him on to Sean. I think he's putting it all together. I just gave him some real raw material, but you'll see, I guess you'll see me in action. But how these paintings are beginning, and the finished painting, well, there's 3 of them, are here now, but they're not on the walls yet. That's future, something for you to do later. And again, it's a pleasure. And with Kevin and Emma and Sean and Jesse, the whole crew here, it's a wonderful environment. I thank you all for coming, not just for me, but for everybody else, the other artists and supporting them. Again, thanks, and enjoy the show.
Thanks, Bill. And Sheep, are you here? Oh, there you are. Okay, I haven't seen you yet. It's been so busy. All right, so born and raised in Waterville, Maine, Sheep Jones creates paintings that invite viewers into layered symbolic worlds, often divided between what lies beneath and above the surface. Now based in Belfast, she works in oil and wax on panel using a translucent technique that echoes her early trainings in watercolor and encaustic painting. Her works are among the most sought after here at the Portland Art Gallery, as you could probably tell. They are known for their warmth, their humor, and their quiet spirituality. So like Bill says, Sheep also says, I start with a line, then it becomes a world where something's sprouting from the earth, something flying in the sky. Please welcome artist Sheep Jones.
Yeah, I broke my foot, my ankle, 3 weeks ago, so, yeah. Well, hello. I'm very thankful to Portland Art Gallery that I have this beautiful venue to show my work. This year, I decided to put together a thematic collection of paintings that depict and highlight the season of winter. When I came up with this idea last year, I discussed it with my sister Dawn, and she composed this poem. Frozen landscapes, snowflakes and cold, when winter whispers, tales unfold. Thank you, Dawn, and thank you all for coming to the opening. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheep. And now I'd like to introduce artist Catherine Breer. It's been such a pleasure. It's a pleasure to introduce her, a beloved Maine artist, long recognized for her colorful landscapes and scenes of coastal life. Catherine's paintings capture those fleeting moments when sunlight transforms those ordinary things, treasures like right behind me here below the water surface, or reflections on the shimmering on the harbor water. As Catherine says, I'm always looking for that moment when the light hits just right, when everyday objects become something extraordinary. Catherine spent much of her early life in Seoul, South Korea. She then studied art history at Emory University, painting at the Atlanta College of Art, and continued her graduate work at the School of Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. In addition to her success as a painter, she has spent many years as a designer for LL Bean. Now based in Freeport, Catherine continues to find endless inspiration in the Maine coast. Please welcome artist Catherine Breer.
We don't usually title our shows, but if I was to make a title for my show, it would be A Love Letter to the Coast of Maine. I grew up in Seoul, Korea, and every summer we would pack up the Land Rover for the almost day-long journey to the west coast of Korea, the Yellow Sea, and a magical place called Taechon Beach. Our trip would take us, we would have to ford streams, we would drive through rice paddies, past oxen pulling carts and women with big jars on their heads. My father, I remember when I was about 5, he let me sit in his lap and steer. It's a really vivid memory for me. We'd get close to the beach, and there was always this big pine tree, ancient pine tree, it's probably 1,000 years old, that would kind of symbolize to us we're almost there. So we'd pull up to our cabin. I would inevitably jump out throw off my shoes, and I'm sure I never helped unpack the car. I would run off and find my friends in their cabins. We'd run down the sandy roads and spent hours playing on the beach, building sandcastles, looking for shells, looking in tidal pools. And I still, to this day, one of my favorite feelings is that feeling at the end of the day when the salt water has dried on your skin and you have that little crunchy bit of salt on your skin and in your hair. So I think those early days really set up that love of the ocean that I still have to this day. When it came time moving to the United States to settle here, Maine just really called to me because I love the ocean. And I've spent the last year or so really exploring different parts of the ocean and really paying attention to those little things that make Maine so unique, like the yellow ochre of the seaweed and the purple in the rocks, the dark blue-green of the water, and that pink in the winter sky. I've looked at it through many seasons and different times of day, and I just really wanted to capture that really unique thing that is the coast of Maine. It's also been, I think, a tough year for a lot of us. There's been a lot of outside noise, and the ocean is just, to me, such a peaceful and healing place. I'd like to thank the gallery. I've been here about 2 years, and it's just been a wonderful experience, so welcoming. And also, the thing you don't see, you see all the beautiful artwork. I mean, I'm so honored to be a part of this group of artists, but the camaraderie and the support and the encouragement, it's just amazing. Like, you sell a painting. I remember I sold a painting early on, and the other artists were like, congratulations, that's awesome. And, you know, it's just really wonderful to have that sense of community, and I really love that. I want to thank my friends from LL Bean and Quad Graphics, my family and my friends for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, the big question a lot of people ask is, where was that painted? And I'm happy to answer if you want to ask me. So thank you.
Well, thank you again all for being here. All of these works are available for sale. They can go home with you unless there's a red dot. Then that means they're going home with somebody else. But please find one of us, and we'll be happy to help you with that. And yeah, enjoy your evening. Thanks again for being here. It's awesome.